All right, so I'm going to tell you this story about when my mother's FiOS line was cut, and then Verizon billed her 700 and whatever. The 700 plus was on her phone bill or her Verizon bill. So what happened was when they were running FiOS into neighborhoods, they were burying it like 3 to 6 inches underground, not in any conduit or anything, pulling it into the house. And then what was happening was, like, I don't know if I can show you, I should have showed you outside. So you have your lawn, and then you have your garden with mulch. So usually what landscapers do, where the lawn ends, right, it's cut, right? So it goes straight down, and then the mulched area, garden area comes, and it kind of like dives into it, but lower than the grass. So maybe 15 years after they ran it, 10 or 15 years. Well, this was 2016, so it could have been like 10-ish years afterwards. My mother was having her garden mulched, and they were just straightening this out, and they cut the line, right? They damaged this. I don't mean they cut it in half, but they damaged it, and then she had no service. So what they did was I think they ran it above grade from the street to her ONT in her garage, and then in order to get her service back up and running within, I don't know, 24 or 48 hours. And then what they did was they came, and then they had I forgot those companies, but the surveyors come and they mark all of the utilities with different colors. You know, like when they paint the ground, like blue is water, I think yellow is gas. There's like blue, yellow, red, maybe orange, something like that, different utilities. And so they would have, like where it is in the street, and then where it is coming into the person's property, right? There's this one, that one. And then there are different heights too, depending on the type of service. Oh, electric is the other one. Red might be electric. Anyway, so they painted, I wonder if there's white. I thought I saw white. Anyway, when I saw the survey had painted the front of her house, I took photographs of it, of the different lines. So what they did was, initially they went straight in from the street through her garden into, and then underneath the sidewalk. I should show you the pictures really, but straight up through the garden, underneath the sidewalk into the garage, right? And then there was a Comcast service like 4 feet closer. And what Comcast did was they went through along the driveway and then underneath the sidewalk, which went like this, right? So Verizon went through it here, through the garden and up through here. And what Comcast did was they went underneath right there. So when Verizon reran it, they reran it the way Comcast did, right? They didn't go into the garden. They didn't. Now, and don't forget, they didn't use conduit, right? The first time. The second time, it was buried 18 inches below grade in an orange conduit. And then they sent a bill. So I contacted them and I said, look, you guys didn't run it right the first time, and they just didn't want to hear any parts of it. So I contacted my mom's local representative's office, and they actually called me back. I spoke with, I forgot who she was, the rep at the time, but so a gentleman called me back, and I told him the story. He said, you're not the first person to tell us this, but there's really nothing we can do. Verizon isn't going to, take the loss. And then I told him, I said, I have photographs that show where it was when they initially ran it 3 to 6 inches below grade, and then the surveyed lines, and then where they ran it afterwards. And they ran it the second time correctly. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah. So he said, why don't you send them to me? I sent them to him, and he got back to me. He said, I think we can get your money, we can get that knocked off of your bill. I can't remember if she paid it or what. She probably paid it, and then she was credited for it. So that's how she didn't have to pay for it. The same thing happened to me a few years earlier, and they didn't charge me for it. When I talked to them, they said they're going to send out a subcontractor, and I told them, I was just like, you guys ran it 3 to 6 inches below grade without a conduit, and if you're going to run it this time, why don't you try running it correctly, and don't bill me for it, right? And they didn't bill me for it, so I don't think my attitude had anything to do with it. They just weren't billing at the time. A few years later, they probably started billing because they realized a lot of lines were getting cut, and they were having to pay, eat the loss, having these subcontractors come and rerun the conduit correctly, and then but anyway, but it seems like our service, at least mine, when it was run in 2003-ish, wasn't done right. It should have been in a conduit. So I'm going to document that just in case our landscapers end up cutting it, which they probably would have done by now if I don't think they will.